So, have you ever had it fall asleep on you?
Oh, not really.
Well, I went on a long hike recently and took a break and sat down on a rock, and the rock had this shape that came up in the middle where I was sitting. It put pressure somewhere. Of course, you never know a body part has fallen asleep until it starts to wake up. A few years ago, I found myself going through a transition, deciding what I needed to do next with my life. I read, took some classes, and then a counselor friend invited me to a workshop devoted to the phallus, exploring male issues. An entire month devoted to me and my body part that likes to fall asleep when I sit on a rock. A group of us met once a week to talk about our attitudes about it, our experiences. Men don't normally get together to just talk, not without some activity involved. But here we talk, and in order to actually speak out loud, we had to hold on to a phallic symbol whenever we said it. Just like this. We had a table full of these things to choose from, carved from wood, ivory, even Brazilian onyx. It's complete with everything. Someone went to a lot of trouble to make this. I mean, it can even stand up straight all by itself. Look, I don't normally carry one of these around with me in my backpack. I've started going to another men's workshop. We use these as talking sticks.
Sure you do.
Yeah, you make jokes. One of the phallic symbols that we use is a lingam. It's part of Hindu religion. I commented that Hindu women must be easily impressed, but I'm wrong. I found out later that this is only a token lingam. In the Hindu temples, the lingams are actually universal. Anyway, it took a while, but eventually, I got used to it. I caught myself grabbing my talking stick and grabbing it with gusto. I used it to put across every point I was trying to make. This was no longer about holding on to a body part. It was, if you'll pardon the expression, much, much bigger than that. It was now about heart. See, when I turn it upside down, it's amazing. I'm not making this up. Buddy. Oh, what's up? That's the scrotum you're holding on to. It's a heart connection, this phallic energy. It connects me to the universe. Through procreation, it connects me to the future. Through the gene pool, it connects me to the past, to my father's phallic energy, and his father's energy, and his father, and so on. You see, the whole point to this workshop is to help men like me deal with being men. See, when I was a kid, everybody called me a fag or a sissy or a woman, for that matter, and the implication was that I was not going to be given membership in the club called manhood when I grew up because I somehow got put into some other category. But, now I am a man, and I don't have to think that way. I can acknowledge the God-given membership I have in the club. Pushing, thrusting, sticking it out there, card-carrying member. Phallic energy, it's there in everything I do. Every business negotiation, every creative act, every handshake, every step forward, every new day, every new breath. I realized while I was on that, during that hike that it was my phallic energy that had been asleep, and for a whole lot longer than just sitting on a rock. It had been asleep for years and couldn't wake up because Because I was gay? Oh. During my transition, I started dating this really terrific quality man. We met working on a volunteer project together and then developed a friendship, then started courting one another. Sex didn't come into the equation until we were ready for it. Anyway, now when I sense it's time for us to be intimate, I try to remember to say a little prayer. I ask that I be a good partner to help celebrate the spiritual energy we share in common as men. And you know what? For what it's worth, and maybe it's just a coincidence, but whenever I remember to say that prayer, everything stays wide awake.